All right, let's do a quick update on Bitcoin. Let's come to the daily chart to give us a high time frame look at what's going on. And let's first draw out our daily structure from the high. And we can see after this low put in, we have broken this daily structure. This high was broken, so now we have that daily boss, and now we are looking for a pullback. Every time we have a strong break of structure, we're going to look for a pullback back in to mitigate this demand here. And we can find refined setups inside this demand. Also, we can pull out our ranges and see that if we look at the previous high as well as this low put in, I'm going to go ahead and move that now, that we came back up to that retracement to the golden pocket from this high to this low. So now we pulled this low to this high to see where in this last daily structure of demand that we're going to find a high probability trade. We know that we want to look at discount sections of the range to find a high probability trade. So we'll use all of our other tools and points of interest to point us in the right direction to refine that trade down. So let's take these ranges back off really quick. Let's go to the 4 hour so we can identify a little bit more of our local structure. Again, let's draw that in. So we come down from the low, break that high, find a new low, and that is our 4 hour structure. So this low right here is your 4 hour structure to break. If we break candle close below this low, then I am looking to break this low and then come back somewhere in the supply range to find a nice short down to our daily demand area, which we'll refine in a minute, to look for the long. And that long could be a nice swing trade back up to these highs if we get our confirmations for it. But this short could also be a potential swing trade to break this daily break of structure. And if we continue to break structure on the way down and we eventually get down here and we break that structure, then we're going to end up coming back to this range or this demand down here, which we've been looking for a long time now. We've got demand areas even starting here around that $73,000 area. This section here would be your first demand area because this is the last sell to buy. So here we saw a sell-off to buy. So this here is your last demand range. And we can refine that further down with order blocks. Now let's take a look at our ranges, because this is going to be a guide for us to understand the locations on the chart. We still have yet to hit this golden pocket from this weekly low to this high. So we definitely could come down. If things are going to remain bullish, it's not going to have that much of a deep retracement. It shouldn't anyway. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Time will tell. But we can also see that we have a golden pocket or the golden zone from here, from the 618 all the way to the 786 Fibonacci zones. So this is a great area to look for a continuation long to the upside. And again, we can refine this big zone with order blocks and high volume levels. Again, on a bigger time frame, we're looking at this range here, and we're still potentially looking to come down to this golden pocket or golden zone from the larger 618 to the 786. Again, we can refine these areas with levels that are going to be order blocks and high volume levels. We could potentially just SFP this 4-hour low and continue up higher and continue a little bit deeper into this golden zone, 618 to this 786 here, sweeping all this liquidity here, and then coming down to maybe this level or this level. So we have to keep our eyes on all of these levels, and we can just simply set your alerts for these levels. And once your alerts come off or go off, you come to the charts and then take a look to see if we have confirmations to take those setups. We're not just going to blindly long or short any of these setups. That will get you wrecked eventually. Sometimes it might work, of course, because they're very, very high probability zones. However, we want to trade a bit more conservative than that unless we get some high level confirmations. So we have our 4-hour and daily zones. Let's turn on our order blocks and our levels. This will complete the picture. So you can see that I have alerts set at each order block to see if it's going to offer an opportunity, whether it be a scalp or a potential day trade or a potential scalp or day trade that could turn into a swing trade. Those are the best. So what am I looking at again? This area here for a long, and really let's use a bit of volume to narrow this down. So we see the value area low, and we have a very nice high volume node right here that's pointing to this order block being a very solid order block. We also can see that we have a daily, a weekly, and a daily naked point of control in this same area. Now, these levels don't have to be respected right to the dollar. So it could come down here, wick through, and then continue higher. So these are zones, and this is why we wait for this to happen. And then we can get in as structure is breaking back up. Same thing for this level. We have a 786 as well as a daily level. But again, could it come through this level and hit this weekly that we have right here and then come up? Absolutely. So we have to wait for the reaction and see if we have the confirmations. We want to play with the aggressors in the market. So let's come back here and let's pull a little bit more volume analysis to narrow this down. Let's take it from this range high all the way over here to current price action. We can see now that this is a bit more of a double distribution. We have a very high volume area right here and another one right here, but this is your point of control. So now we have a point of control of this volume, and we also have a value area low of this volume, along with all these daily levels right in this zone. So where am I focused on? I think that's pretty self-explanatory at this point. So this is a very, very high confluence area. So you better believe that I'm going to be eyeballing this zone much more than I am these zones. However, this could still give us a nice scalp for a nice short to come down to this zone and then take this zone up. So price doesn't just have to rip down here and give you what you want immediately. You have to wait to see how market structure is presenting itself. It's the most important thing you can use. Market structure is king. So let's go back And let's just take a look at the volume from this leg up, so we can also use even more volume data just from the bullish leg up here. So we see that the point of control is way down here. And I have this marked out with the high volume node, as well as we have this naked point of control. Now this is a little further away, so we don't have to really worry about this probably anytime soon. However, we can see that we also had a very big high volume node here. And what do we see? That is currently where we rejected from. And let me draw a horizontal line here so you can see that. We'll make it a white line, brighten it up. So you can see how these high volume node areas, let's make that a different color so everyone can see that a little brighter. So we can see these high volume nodes, how price reacts to these. So that's why they're extremely important. So we see that we've rejected. Let's take this volume all the way over to current price. So now we're getting this entire section. So since we took that entire section, that high volume node, that double distribution high volume node, took this point of control down here from to up to here. So again, where did we reject from? The point of control of this bigger volume range. It's no surprise. Happens all the time, day in and day out. This is why we value market structure and volume over anything else. So these are the areas to watch for. You have mini order blocks to take small scalps from, and you have order blocks and bigger zones that you have recognized are the most important areas of the range to look for longer day trades and swing trades. Now, if we were, let's go down, let's just zoom in a little bit. Let's go back to this 4 hour. We can see that we are currently at the point of control and wrestling around with that. So again, if we break this 4 hour low, we're obviously going to look for more downside. So we are paying attention to this level. What happens at this level? Do we break it with a strong candle and we come down? Or do we go really fast through this area and make an SFP? Which again, we'll look at it like this. You have a big candle and that candle closes above, and this is your wick, but the candle body closes above here. That's not a break of structure. That is an SFP. So that means now this is your target high, which we would look back up to this premium section of the supply to look for a potential short from this area, or for it to actually break this high and go higher. So we do have potential setups no matter what price does. We're not looking for certain indicators to give us the confirmation or to give us an area of interest. We're looking for market structure and volume to guide us the way and where the big players in the market want price to go. So I've copied the link to the charts and I have put them into the Discord so everyone can have my interactive chart and you can have all these levels on your chart as well. And of course I will update this throughout the day, and I will also update any trades that I take. We're just about 45 minutes past New York Open, and we are basically consolidating in this order block and around the point of control. And I believe VWAP is also around the same area. Yeah, so we're still wrestling around VWAP like we have been. So I'm waiting for it to really kind of break out of this area, or if it breaks above this high and point of control, we can then look for a potential long to sweep some of this liquidity here, because there's a lot of stop losses in this area. And we can also look at this area here. We have these equal lows, or near equal lows here, and we can look at that as liquidity as well. So this is why I was saying this 4-hour break of structure is very important. If we get a strong candle break below that, that's going to be very bearish. But if we just come down here to sweep these lows, it's just going to grab liquidity to go higher and continue this bullish structure, because we are still in bullish structure until we break this low with a strong candle, 4-hour candle. So that's your update, and I will keep you updated in the Discord. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask and tag me in the Discord, and I'll get to you shortly.